Pep Talk UK once again, somewhere in London. For the first time since Las Vegas, I'm bucking up the voice of reason, Mr. Dean Whyte. How you, bro?
I'm well. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing well, it's just, it's hard getting back into the groove of things, I feel like Roddy Rich right now. I'm going to get lazy. Hey, what's been happening since you've been back?
Like you say, just trying to get back to grips with the time zone, getting rid of this lethargic feeling, the time difference and stuff. I've just been grafting, trying to connect some dots with some of these promoters and trying to get an angle for my boys, some of them to get out and get them on some decent shows,
Have you ever done an interview in the back of a cab?
No, this is my first time in such a lovely Sherbet McDab. Yeah, lovely cab, East End slime in it, and rhyming slime. But this is a nice brand new motor, and we've got the pleasure of cruising around in. So yeah, first time.
I just want to make it perfectly clear. This isn't fake taxi, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, no, we cruising, man.
Well, we've got to talk about. Some people asked me to say, yeah. So, what was behind the whole gate crashing of Tyson Fury's celebration party out in Las Vegas?
No. If there was, it was just really courtesy, to give credit where credit's due, and I'm sure I said that, and it came across that way, and I'm sure Tyson took it that way. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, I'm a big fan of boxing, and I wanted to. I was local, so it was, we was passing, so we thought, say hi, congratulate the man on such a momentous, such a history-defining moment, and to be out there and to be part of it, it's going to be in the history books for a long time, So, and we was welcomed very openly by Tyson. I had a few drinks, and it was all good.
It was amazing to see Tyson Fury victorious and all, having a few bevies, and enjoying himself with the fans. That was amazing.
Yeah. No, listen, he seems to be a proper people's person. A lot of Irish fans, a lot of English fans came out there to support him. And, you can't beat the UK fans, the best fans in the world, They were chanting, screaming the Gypsy King at the highest decibels of their voices, and they could be heard for miles around, and it was just great sight to see and to be there and be a part of that, to be honest, like as a fan of boxing, and to know what's around the corner for my bro Dillian Whyte, when these two hopefully get it on, or, whoever the champion is at that time,
You mentioned Dillian Whyte and Tyson Fury back in the bar out in Las Vegas. He said, no problem, I'll defend against my mandatory if I need to, if I have to.
Yeah. Well, do you know what? Tyson Fury seems like he's a man of his word and stuff on some things he said. And then there's times where he's not been so honest and straightforward. But yet again, what you got to look at is there's the fruit on the tree, which is waiting for him, and he's thinking it's ripe to pluck. He said he's only got a few more fights left in him. And when you're talking about the money that's on offer, when you're talking about a unification fight, could it twist his ear? Could it twist his ear to that direction? I got a good feeling that that's a possibility. And you got Eddie Hearn pushing that agenda. Not so much pushing the agenda for Dillian as the mandatory, but pushing that agenda, saying the whole country wants to see this fight, X, Y, Z. But I didn't hear this kind of energy when it was Deontay Wilder. I didn't hear the whole country wanted to see the fight as much. But anyway, going back, it's one of them ones, potentially, is his hair going to be twisted? Because there's a lot of money on the line. These 0, 0, 0 is what these guys are potentially going to make at the moment. It's a lot. It's going to be hard for him to turn it down. There is a possibility if he does the trilogy, then he says, afterwards September, let me do my mandatory, and then maybe fight Joshua in December in the unification, and then we would look at him and say, well, that's respect's due and respect's given, and he's been a man and true to his word, and he give Dillian his shot, but and then Dillian needs to just be ready, raring and hungry as he is, to take the opportunity and upset the tea party, the apple cart, as they'd say.
You mentioned Dillian Whyte. What did he make of you asking Tyson Fury, when's my bro gonna get his shot? What did he say about that video?
You know, he didn't really say much, funny enough, you know. All he said was, that guy's never going to fight me, so I'm going to keep working until I get my shot one way or the other.
Dillian Whyte, since we last seen each other, Povetkin, he's got the challenge of Povetkin ahead of him now. Is Povetkin past it? Is this going to be a stroll in the park for Dillian Whyte?
Nah, by no means is Povetkin past it. Listen, we saw in Saudi in December, you know, what a hell of a performance by Povetkin against Hunter. Hunter is a young, roaring young lion who's hungry. At the minute, a lot of people would have him as the bogeyman instead of Ortiz now. Not a lot of people are mentioning the likes of Michael Hunter. I get it though. You know, there's no need to talk about someone who's got nothing much to offer and is very dangerous and lively opponent. What we got to look at is that, you know, Povetkin came roaring back in that fight. He showed his mettle, he showed his experience, and I think a draw was the best result for both of those guys, because I felt it was like a fight of two halves. You know, Hunter started, you know, explosive, sharp. Then he got him out there and was about to rewrite the script. And then the experience kicked in, and down the straight, you know, Povetkin piled on the pressure, you know, and you know, he just managed to hang in this. But what a fight! I knew it was going to be one of the dark horses of the night, and for me, it probably lived up to being one of the best fights on the card, if not the best fight on the card, you know.
You mentioned Michael Hunter. Michael Hunter told me in Las Vegas that he wants Dillian, man. That's what he told me.
Yeah, no, he said he wants everyone. I spoke to him myself, and he was just on it. I obviously didn't really so much mention Dill because I was there possibly, but you know, he was saying, listen, he wants all the smoke, he wants everyone, you know what I mean, he's raring. But when you look at the situation, I mean, like in terms of, you know, he's come up from cruiserweight, he's a small guy, he's a dangerous guy, but then when you look at it, look, there's not much to offer. He's not in the ranking high enough. Some people, you know, I don't know if some people will look at it like that, because look, I can't see Joshua fighting him. Tyson Fury ain't going to fight him. Dillian will possibly maybe not look at him to say, well, because he's not maybe that known here. He does fight here, but he's not that known here. I don't know. This is just my opinion. But I mean, a lot of these guys, I guess, wouldn't look at him in that aspect. Andy Ruiz maybe not look at him. Ortiz, because there's very little to gain in fighting him. And he's going to come and bring a hell of a lot to the table, you know what I mean? Maybe that's it, or maybe the people will just look at it like, say, well, he's got nothing to offer. I don't need to talk about someone, and I'm not going to give it any gasoline to ignite the fire, if you get my meaning. So I keep, you know, when he talks about me, I won't even mention him and give him any traction, and excuse me, he'll possibly go away. I don't know.
Moving on, big news today, as expected. War Chisora versus Oleksandr Usyk. You're on good terms now with Derek Chisora.
Yeah, finally that fight's been made, and yes, we're on good terms. Yeah, so I do know that he's been training hard. He was in good shape a few weeks back, early into the year, and he's definitely not messing about. He's make sure he's ticking all the boxes, and he's coming to bring pain for Usyk. Hopefully he can pull it off, you know, and upset the apple cart, because, you know, Usyk was a hell of an amateur. He was a brilliant cruiserweight. He came and fought Witherspoon, and, you know, got caught a few shots. Let's see what Chisora can do, man. Let's see what the war can bring to the situation, and I think he can make it interesting if he can press on the put on the pressure, close the distance, and just let his hands go. I think Usyk's in for a really, really, really tough night. But yet again, Usyk's one hell of an athlete, one hell of a amateur with great pedigree. You know, even as a cruiserweight, he came up and just dominated the whole cruiserweight division, and now he's come up to where the big boys are. I think he might struggle with some of the big boys. They might just be a little bit too big and strong for him, trying to do what he's doing, moving around and doing all that. But let's see. He might prove me wrong.
So you're fully behind your mate Chisora.
Yeah, I want to be back in Chisora 100%, man. Hell yeah, why not, man? We got to back our UK boys. I think that was probably one of the only people I didn't back for some time, but sometimes you never can know what's round the corner. And obviously opinions have changed, my mindset's changed. And, you know, we've spoken and we've let bygones be bygones. And you know, I'm going to be backing him also. So I don't think there'll be many people that you won't hear me backing now from this day forth in the UK. You know what I mean? In terms of if they're fighting anyone else. So you know, Dave is doing a tremendous job with him down there.
I just remember from that press conference. That's some baby Ting, man.
It's a baby thing. Why you throw the table for, man? Why you throw the table for? You get me? I remember, yeah, that was quite fun. Interesting night, you know.
All props to Chisora because, you know, he's taken up some gears, man, of late, and he's been really impressive. You know, Spilker, David Price, mate, he's been putting him away. Nothing long.
Listen, I think since he's joined forces with David Hay, he's become a whole new beast, a whole different. I think what's happened is he needed someone with, you know, a little bit pizzazz, who's got certain metal that can push him, that can get him to rise to the occasion. I think Dave is that man. Dave is the spokesman. He's a good businessman, and he was a great, phenomenal athlete also. So he knows what it takes to be at the top and what you got to do in the gym. So with that combination, those boys, you know, they're taking it to the top. And I think, you know, it showed in the fight with Dillian how he came in shape. He was in tremendous shape, and he was given a run for his money in that fight. And then basically coming, you know, you saw him with the Spilker and the other fights. And now I'm saying from January, early Feb, he was in good nick. So I'd like, you know, it's going to be interesting to see how he's going to be by the fight night, to be honest. I've got a boy that's sparring with him. Actually, I'll probably be down there tomorrow morning, funny enough, actually. Unless they got the press conference tomorrow. Where's the press conference tomorrow? I'll be there. Yeah.
Well, I'd like to thank the big man himself in the fake taxi.
Absolutely. I'd like to thank you as always, and I'd like to thank the fans for tuning in, log in, subscribe as always, and keep watching the journey.
Pro Beez, Dean Whyte, subscribe. Pep Talk boys, we out here.